Welcome to the show, everyone, and happy Monday to everybody. We are live on Facebook, so I do want to say hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. My first guest has been on with me once before. I have with me Jill Hudson. She's the owner of Hudson Law Firm, Jill Hudson Law Firm, and we're going to talk about estate planning because that's what you do. And I want everybody to kind of hear a little bit about you, your background, and what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so
Up on the
much. Great to see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. So Jill Hudson, yes, that's who I am. An Arizona native, born and raised. Very, very proud of my Arizona roots. Grew up, we were just chatting about that, but grew up on the west side, Glendale specifically, and went to Xavier College Prep for high school. Went to the U of A. I'm a diehard Wildcat, so especially pending Final Four, very excited about that.
Yeah.
And met my husband at the U of A, and then we ended up moving to the East Coast for the military. He was in the Navy ROTC program. So while in Virginia, that's when I decided to go to law school. Then fast forward, took the Arizona bar in 1998, became a prosecutor with the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for a few years, and then in 2014, I decided to shift gears, certainly after having a family. We have 2 daughters, very, very proud of. But then, in 2014, I opened up my own firm. So estate planning, probate, trust administration, and veterans disability law. I'm very excited to kind of educate and teach and really make sure people understand kind of pitfalls, what to avoid, and we'll go from there. Yeah.
So many people put their heads in the sand when it comes to this topic that it's crazy. Here in America, more than ever, because in other countries, from what I've been told, we don't like to talk about death here.
Correct.
We think, I don't know, some people think if you're going to do something like this, oh, that means you're going to die.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
No, it's you're right. I mean, that's an interesting point. I've had several clients, tell me that or say, hey, I've been dragging my feet because I am concerned that something will happen. And it has not, so that's
Right.
good. I have some success stories where doing the planning, and again, it's that peace of mind that I want to provide all the time. That's always my goal.
Absolutely. Today we're going to talk about what if something happens and what those somethings might be. And I love the first one that we're going to talk about because a lot of people, right, they get married, they're going to get a dog, animals, right? And now I'm going to do it as you said. How do I plan and provide for any pets who may survive that person?
Right, absolutely. This is actually one of my favorite areas to practice in, and it was my very first client in 2014. This wonderful lady, she was in her mid-70s, and she called me crying on the phone. And I was certainly wanting to hear everything, she wanted to say and really be there for her, what happened, what's going on. The problem was she had contacted another attorney, another law firm, and they had advertised that they do pet trusts. And so she called very excited to do it, and they started laughing at her. So she was obviously very, very upset. So again, first client, and I said, absolutely, I can help you with planning for your pets. Yeah.
So how do you plan for a pet?
Yeah. So you can do, certainly there's something called a pet trust if you want to, and you can actually set aside some money. You can name a pet trustee. You can even name somebody to oversee both of that, both the person, the pet trustee, and the money that's associated with the pet. So there's a lot of rules that we can set forth from that person. And in this specific case, that first client, she actually had 10 really beloved cats that she wanted to provide for, and her health was failing. And so I helped her with that. And it just, you can't even imagine how grateful she was to be able to help with that. Yeah.
Her cats were like her
Children, absolutely. And she did not have children. That's exactly what I've been seeing a lot of, is a lot of people who choose not to have children. Mm-hmm. Their pets obviously can be, that's their family, right? And so they really do want to make sure that they take care and provide for them. a lot of times, I have clients that say, oh, because I always ask the question, do you have pets and do you have somebody to help? Oh yeah, my daughter, my son, or whoever, my neighbor. That's great. That's the conversation I want everyone to have, is have a plan in place for your pets. And if you can, set aside some money. So in a pet trust, it's a forced, right? It's gonna force the trust to set aside some money if those pets survive the client. And it gives them, again, that peace of mind, that their pet's not gonna be, in a battle or lost or homeless, okay? Which can happen so often.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because who wants the pet, maybe, you know?
Right.
Right? I mean, I
Yeah.
think I've seen that happen. I knew somebody who died just suddenly.
Right.
And it was like, well, what we're gonna do with the dog?
Right.
And I don't even know what happened. I don't wanna know, but it's really sad.
Right.
And I don't know whether or not she even was prepared because it was a sudden death.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is what, I know
Exactly.
it's crazy to talk about, but what's important is that you're prepared.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that's what you talk
Mhm.
about, being prepared so that you have peace of mind. The other thing I want to talk about before we go to break, because I know that it comes up so fast, is how you also do house calls.
Yes, I do.
Listen
Right.
to this, folks.
I do, and there's no extra charge for it at all, but I make it it's a very, very important point. Because of my work also with veterans and or any age group, but the homebound clients who feel that no one will help them and they can't get to an office, I will go to them. So, and
Thank you for
yeah,
that, because
absolutely,
there's a
yeah.
lot of people that can't.
Absolutely.
And where else but on Networking Arizona will you learn and hear something like this? That's what I love about the show. Now, your phone number is 480-369-4802. She is in Chandler, but she works statewide. You do free consultations.
Yes.
And she makes house calls. Now, today we're talking about things that might just happen. Pets, obviously, you have to make sure that they are taken care of as well. That's
Right.
part of your trust. They have a separate one, I'm assuming.
They can, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah, it's a separate, supplemental, called the supplemental trust to the main trust.
So now the other thing is that we have a couple of minutes. We'll give the children a couple of minutes, right?
Right,
Because
right,
what
right,
about the
yeah,
children?
exactly.
Pets and then now children. Go ahead.
Oh, again, planning for it, just in case. You obviously are not hoping, that something bad's gonna happen. We don't want that, but we want the plan in place, like you just said. So minor children, how do we plan for the minor children? Who do you choose? And that's a lot of the discussion I'll have with my clients who have, of course, minor children, which is, well, who do you trust 24/7 with finances? But is that the same person for your kids? It might not be, and that's okay, because you can actually pick different people. So you can pick, obviously the guardian for the children, and you can pick somebody else to oversee the money.
Especially if they're minors. This
Right.
is the problem. And something like this can happen anytime.
Right.
I truly believe that anybody over the age of 18 should do this, number one.
Absolutely.
Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
And then, of course, once you get married, you have children, now it even becomes more so.
More so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that people don't like to talk about the subject, but it's a great subject.
Right.
And what I love is some of the things that you're mentioning here for you to think about. We're going to go to a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk further.
Sure.
The main thing is that you are prepared and that you get peace of mind. And she
Right.
makes it even easier. She comes to you. She makes house calls. So again, that phone number to call is 480-369-4802. She is in Chandler. She works statewide. She comes to you. She does free consultations. She does estate planning. She does probate. She does trust administration and veterans disability law. And when you were here the last time, there was somebody in here that I knew that was
Yeah.
having something happening to him. And I don't know if that would ever happen, but you never know who you're talking to.
Never know.
Again, check her out. Okay, it's 480-369-4802. I was going to say your website, but I didn't have one. So
It's okay.
I said check her out.
Perfect. You got it.
So we're going to keep on going here. We'll come
Okay.
back to the kiddos a little bit. So
Yeah.
if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
Okay, and I love this one, okay? And of course here,
Yeah, this is a big deal.
We try to get to them all, whatever we get to is okay in this way we're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I told you that my ex-husband, his mom passed away with a nice size, they had a trust, they had everything. But the interesting thing, and I do think that people need to dust them off. You do second opinion, like if somebody
right.
has had one and look at it,
Review.
do you do that?
Absolutely. I do, yeah, trust reviews and, yeah, make sure everything is the way it's
Because,
supposed to be.
So what you think is done correctly is not.
Sometimes it's not.
Well,
Yeah.
it's amazing because, first of all, she had made no provisions for somebody. Okay, that was a stepbrother. Okay, no provisions whatsoever. That was in the will. But apparently the will and the trust are different things. I didn't know that.
Right.
Anyway, what's happening is this is in probate, and the stepson is trying to get what he can more than what he's supposed to.
Okay.
Right? So there's something called the decedent's trust,
Right.
which
Yeah.
they're not disputing that, but he's disputing that how the mother utilized it and lived off of it as she was living, and there was she was able to do that because there was money that she needed to live off of, and at one point there was more money there than there was in this other survivor's trust.
Right.
And so that was her decision, whatever.
Okay.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but they're trying everything they can to find out what she did, and
Right.
I mean, it's almost like I feel sorry for her because my feeling is that it's kind of like invading her privacy, because for her life,
Right.
who the heck knows? Even her sons and daughter doesn't know what they did,
Yeah.
what she
30.
did with her life, right?
Wow.
So who the heck knows
Right.
what she bought, And
That's-
they're checking like every little thing.
Oh, sure, right. Usually that would occur after the first death, the first spouse to die. Sometimes that will get split, survivors deceit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what happened, but
Wow,
it's a mess.
yeah, it certainly can be.
So welcome back, everyone. At the break, I sit there and we talk a little bit further, and I got stories, and you're sitting there going, yeah, I've seen that,
Absolutely.
And stuff happens all the time. One of the things that I did bring up, and I'm serious, folks, dust off your estate planning papers, because, I think I might have told you the last time when you were on here, I had surgery. And before my surgery, I thought, it might be a good idea I'd take that out and look at it. And guess what? Like 4 or 5 things literally needed to be changed. And I had only done one, like maybe 5 years ago, which isn't a long time.
Not a long time.
But things change. Right?
Absolutely.
And you need to have them changed properly. You can't write on it and go cross it off.
Correct.
Talk about that.
Oh my gosh, thank you for bringing that up. We get a lot of clients that come in, they'll bring in a binder or documents and they've written on it. It's
a no-no.
It's basically void, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, any life event, I tell someone, any life event at all, including, of course, pending surgery, is a great time to review. Because you may survive the surgery, we hope, right? But you may have some physical incapacitation, mentally, incapacity. So we want to make sure that everything is the way you want it. You want it, not somebody else. The way you want it before, okay? So that again, you're going into surgery or a life event with some peace of mind. So that is the best time to review.
And you do,
yeah.
they're called trust reviews, and you do them.
I do, yeah, absolutely. And it's part of my initial meeting or initial consultation. So if they do already have any estate planning documents, I want them to bring that in for sure. And I will review that in that meeting. There's no charge for that one. And then I will just give them my advice on what I think. It could be good to go, or hey, we need to just update 2 or 3 of these documents.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great time. You're right, any time is a good time to review, but certainly when you have a life event coming up.
She comes to you. It makes sense, right? You've made it so simple. And if you don't have one, it's important to have one. It'll give you such peace of mind. I know
Yeah.
that lift that you feel, right, of that burden that's on you that you think about occasionally,
Right.
now it's lifted. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things that I really wanna talk about. How do you minimize family disputes?
This is huge, right? Okay, so what I love is when a client says, "What do you think about me having kind of having a meeting and talking with my adult children or my family? What do you think about that?" It's entirely up to them, but I love it. The more communication, or at least letting them know what you're doing. Maybe you don't want them to know before it's all done, right? Maybe you don't want to be swayed. But if you have the ability to sit down and tell them, this is what we've decided, or I've decided, and here's where the documents are. That's something I really want to stress, is I've been seeing this more and more often lately with clients after somebody passes, that they are named, let's say, the trustee, or they're named the personal representative, which Arizona refers to that as the executor role. They call it the personal representative. And they can't find the documents. They know they're out there somewhere, they can't find them. I really stress whether you want to give them a copy, or at least let your people know where to access the copies, or the original is huge.
So how do you handle that?
Well, certainly I'm fine, if they want me as part of that meeting, that's okay. I love that, that's great. But really I want to encourage them to sit down with their family.
Absolutely. I was
Yeah.
just in the bank the other day, and two kids, they were young too, that were standing at the teller telling, I was overhearing it, the teller how they are supposedly an executor, but we don't know where the paperwork is.
100%, it happens so often.
Wow.
Now I understand that though too, right? I'm trying to put myself in my client's shoes. So if you don't want to share, you don't have to, but at least let somebody know, or a couple of people know, where the documents are upon death. Again, like you mentioned a little bit ago, the sudden death, you're not expecting it, obviously, nobody is. And so that makes it easier for your survivors, and dare I say, much, much cheaper. It's much, less expensive if you already have the documents. We're not having to possibly have to go to probate, right, to set forth and make the court appoint someone. We already have it.
Here's the other thing. You need to start writing things down because a lot of times we forget, right? We just misplace it, we don't know. But you know what? They're very important documents. Maybe you tell somebody, a family member that you can trust, even if it's maybe somebody, a sister-in-law or something like that, so that you have your, again, we're gonna talk about peace of mind here. That's really what it's all about.
Exactly.
Again, where are they? That's important to know. She can help with anybody that's gonna have a sit down with the family. I think that's wonderful. That I think you should be there, because if at least you're there, you're like, you can help out if things get heated.
Right.
Because they're gonna get heated. They just do most of the time.
True. And I can, obviously the client, it's all what the client wants, and what I'm allowed to say and not say. Certainly, it's up to them. But yeah, it's helped a lot. I've done a few of those, quite a few of those, where it really helps for me to explain, because the client will say, "Can you explain why I chose that?" Not, I didn't choose it for them, why they chose that.
Right.
And then the adult children really leave, like you said, a weight's been lifted. They all know the answer, that's what mom and dad wanted.
Yeah.
So it's very helpful.
Now, let's go ahead to blended families, because there's a lot of blended families.
Right. And this is something that I really enjoy helping with too. A lot of these clients will come in and it's like a puzzle, that I can kind of solve and fix or help fix. And the questions really are, well, who do we provide for? How much? Whose children? But a lot of it comes down to which spouse dies first, okay? So whoever were to die first, then what? Okay, so are all of the resources gonna go to only one side of the family, or are they gonna be split between all of the children? Because if it's not put in writing, then Arizona does, of course, what's called the heirs at law. So if somebody dies without documents, it's called intestate. Arizona subscribes to the heirs at law, so it's just gonna be the bloodline. Maybe you wanted your stepchild, your stepson, your stepdaughter, maybe you wanted them to have something. you have to put it in writing.
It has to be.
be done correctly.
And a lot of people try and do these things on their own. Having an attorney do them, explain why that's so wonderful and what you do with everything besides them having to do it all.
Right, no, exactly. I mean, look, if somebody's trying to do it on their own and they're typing it up and, or their handwritten will, Arizona allows some of that certainly. But it is really, really important to make sure you are going to an attorney because we have a license, right? So everything is on the line. And we want to do exactly what we're supposed to do by statute. We have to follow the rules, and we have to be most up to date and current, obviously, on the statutes. So that's why it's imperative. And I've received that question, obviously, throughout, since 2014.
I'm sure.
Why should I hire you? I've gotten that quite a few times. Why should I hire you and not a document preparer? And it's the same answer. There's nothing wrong with a document preparer. Please do not misunderstand. Much respect for them. But in terms of really, really, especially a trust or a will plan where you have a lot of different moving parts or powers of attorney, you want an attorney to be able to review that, look at it, prepare it, sit with the client and really ask all of the what ifs, okay? And I've seen, of course, not every possible thing, obviously, but I've seen so much that I'm able to kind of dig in and say, okay, well, if you name this person, then what about this? And then another thing real quick too on that is alternates. A lot of my probate cases were hung up in court because no alternate was named, and so that initial person has passed away. Now we have to get the court to assign somebody. Again, it's expense. It's an expense we can avoid.
And if it goes into probate, it can be there a long time.
Yes.
Right.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Now, let me say this, please. Get your phones out, put this number in your phone. Everybody should really take care of getting this done. We should stop putting our heads in the sand, make sure it's done. Even if you have one already, dust it out. Have her do a trust review for you. She is in Chandler, but she works statewide. She does free consultations. Her phone number is 480-369-4802. Business owners, this is important. What about people who are business with their wife?
Sure,
They
absolutely.
have a business together.
So that is very, very important, and a lot of it is in succession planning. Can I help with that in a trust? Yes, absolutely. So we talk about what the business is, how it's structured. We look at, of course, wherever, if it's a corporation or not, or if it's an LLC. And I help them make sure that that's where they want it to go. Where does it go? It depends. So if they are in business with other people, they probably have certainly their own shares that they would want to transfer. Is it going to transfer to a person, to the trust, etc., or charity? So I can help them with that succession planning for their estate planning.
Well, we'll say it real quickly. With financial advisors, accountants, and other professionals, do you get them involved sometimes as well?
If the client directs me and they ask, and I'm happy to be on that team, that's what I call it. I want to be a member of your team. I don't shy away. A lot of people will say, hey, can I have my CPA on the phone with you? Yes, it's up to the client.
Her phone number is 480-369-4802. Peace of mind, that's what it's all about.
Thank you.